Hello, this is Alert Day Trading. The purpose of this video and the videos I make is to journal my trades, notice any mistakes I'm making, see if there's any corrections I could be making, and just to talk about some ideas I have about the markets and day trading in general. And something that I've been thinking about lately is day trading exercises and things that I could do to improve my trading skill. And I think that day trading and trading in general is a skill, and just like anything else there is in life, there are many skills involved with when it comes to improving. For example, if I wanted to be a basketball player, I would need to learn how to dribble. I would need to learn how to pass the ball. I would need to learn how to shoot the ball. All those are different skills involved with one profession. And I think the same for trading. There are many different skills involved. And I think the number one skill to be good at in terms of day trading is knowing how to stick to my stop loss levels. Once I improved on that skill, I noticed a huge improvement in my trading. For one, my losses were getting smaller. I noticed just my discipline improving and so on. And so there's a video about that just before this one. And the second most important skill that I think I need to be good at in terms of my trading is raising my stop loss and knowing how to raise it, knowing when to raise it, and different ways of raising it, also depending on what's happening in the market. So basically, my strategy is to try to get my stop loss to break even as quickly as possible, because then I minimize my risk and I also decrease the chances of turning a profitable trade into a losing trade. So, and which that has happened to me many times. So basically what I do is, for example, if I buy a stock at $8 and my risk is to stop out below $7, so that's about a $1 risk. So when the price of the stock goes up to $9, I'll take profits because I usually stick to at least a 1-to-1 risk to reward. And then I raise my stop loss to break even. So I guarantee that the trade will remain profitable. Now, if the price goes to $10, then I'll raise my stop loss to $9. But something that I've been working on lately is, instead of sticking to that just 1-to-1 risk to reward, is to notice what the 9 EMA is doing. And so this is a good example of at least for me, my strategy is to stick to raising the stop loss level with the 9 EMA. So if you look at ACY, and you can see that it's making an incredible move. I bought this stock at $8.30-ish. And my stop loss was about $7.30. So that's about a $1 risk. And as you can see, the stock was pushing up higher. I ended up actually entering again on the 3-minute chart. Actually, it was still the 1 minute. So I made 2 entries on the 1-minute chart. So both entries, this is one entry right here, right there, and then my second entry was right here. And this is where This stock obviously made a nice move up, and here's some level of resistance. So this is where I start to be really careful in terms of holding on to the stock. And basically, I was raising my stop loss as the price of the stock was increasing. And this is where at least my mistake comes into play, is right here is where I stopped out completely of the position of my last share size. So I raise my stop loss basically every time I end up taking profits. But when I'm holding on to my last share size, so the final shares that I want to hold on to, see how far it'll go, I've told myself that I'm going to stop out if the price breaks below the EMA, depending on which chart I'm using. So I use different time frames. In this case, I was using the 1 minute. So the last shares I'll hold, I'm going to just follow the 9 EMA. So the mistake I made was raising my stop loss right over the 9 EMA, and I got stopped out right there, right below that red line. But check this out. If I had stuck to that rule, the price never broke below the 9 EMA, and I would still be holding from $8.30 to $38. And we're talking about maybe a 20 cents difference where I stopped out. So that's definitely frustrating on my part. It was really a small mistake, but it ended up costing me, almost, I stopped out around $11. So that's $27 per share. But that's the high. So let's say I stuck to the EMA. So the EMA is currently at $24.89. So that's about $12 per share. And so anyway, that is the second most important thing I think that I need to get good at in terms of day trading, is sticking to my stop loss rule of when to raise my stop loss, how to raise it. And really it came down to the fear of giving away profits. So I had already taken profits, and my remaining size, I had profits, and I didn't want to give those away. And that's what I think what it came down to. But it took away the opportunity of making a lot more. And so this is a good reason to stick to that rule. And that's basically, how I stay in a trade for a longer period of time. And I'm also wondering, what's more important, is to raise my stop loss or to take profits? Well, I think if we were to rank them in order, if I was to rank them in order, the number one rule would be sticking to my stop loss. The number two rule would be raising my stop loss with the EMAs. And the number three rule would be on how to take profits and sticking to my take profit strategies. So I'll definitely make a video on that. So the second trading exercise would be that once I get in a trade, I focus on raising my stop loss regardless of whether I've taken profits or not, because that's definitely something that I want to be good at. And it's going to minimize my losses if the trade goes against me. It'll increase my potential profits, as you can see in this case. Now, this case is definitely not common. It does happen once in a while. I do notice it, but it's not that common. So sticking to my stop loss rule in terms of raising it would definitely minimize my losses, And in this case, definitely maximize profits. So even if I never took profits and just sticking to my when to raise my stop loss, in this case, I would have been profitable regardless. But I think there's some factors in there in terms of greed, and fear of giving profits away and fear of missing out. All those factors come into play there. So my next trading exercise would definitely be when to take profits, and so I'll definitely make a video about that. So just to recap, basically the second most important thing in my opinion in terms of day trading is focusing on when to raise your my stop loss, how to raise it, depending on what the market's doing, and that's basically it. So what I would do is maybe do a 20 trade sample size, and I would just decide how exactly am I going to raise my stop loss. So I wouldn't even focus on taking profits during this exercise. I would say, okay, so my strategy is to raise my stop loss with the 9 EMA. So what I'm going to do is set my stop loss, and as the 9 EMA increases, I will raise my stop loss and then just see what happens. I wouldn't even worry about taking profits in that case, because that's not the skill that I'm trying to improve during that 20 trade exercise. Just like the first trade exercise, all I was focused on was sticking to my stop loss. And if it happened to be profitable, then I would take profits. But that's not what I was focused on. And in this case, I would just focus on raising my stop loss with the EMA. And I probably would try this also with one share, just to test out the strategy, and keeping it small size just to see what the overall statistics are with that. So anyway, again, just to remind you, the purpose of this video and the videos I make is to journal my trades, notice any mistakes I'm making, focus on corrections I could be making, talk about some ideas I have about the markets. And if you can learn from any of that, that's definitely a positive. Thanks for watching, and good luck.